For centuries, people feasted on eels without ever seeing their eggs, their young, or even proof of their mating. So elusive that Aristotle believed they sprang from mud itself. As we trace eels into greater depths, their forms grow ever more alien, and their final disappearance in the Sargasso Sea remains one of biology's strangest vanishing acts. What secrets drive these shape-shifting creatures to defy science, and why does each new discovery only deepen the mystery? Eels belong to a group of fish called anguilliforms, over 800 species, each shaped for slipping through the world's tightest spaces. Unlike snakes, eels are true fish, long, flexible, and almost always covered in a layer of slimy mucus instead of scales. This slick skin lets them glide through cracks in coral, under rocks, and into burrows where most predators cannot follow. Some eels, like the European and American species, spend much of their lives in fresh water. Others, such as morays, never leave the ocean. Moray eels haunt coral reefs, their heads poking from holes as they wait for the perfect moment to strike. Their bodies are laterally compressed, built for weaving through the maze of coral. But it is their jaws that set them apart. When a fish swims too close, the moray lunges, not just with its main set of needle-sharp teeth, but with a hidden weapon. Inside the throat, a second set of jaws, the pharyngeal jaws, shoots forward, grabs the prey, and drags it deeper into the mouth. This mechanism is unique among bony fish, and so sudden that even high-speed cameras struggle to catch every detail. The combination of slippery, scaleless skin and a double-jawed mouth makes morays both efficient hunters and unsettling to watch. Their powerful bites and ribbon-like swimming style are perfectly tuned for ambush, turning the familiar image of a fish into something far stranger. Each feature, from the flexible body to the jaws within jaws, hints at the even more bizarre adaptations, waiting as eels descend into deeper water. As sunlight begins to fade beyond the reefs, the world of eels grows larger and more unsettling. On the continental slope, conger eels emerge as the new rulers, powerful muscular hunters that can reach up to 3 meters in length. These giants prowl the dark edges of shipwrecks and rocky ledges, thriving in a world where the water grows colder and the pressure mounts with every meter down. Unlike their reef-dwelling cousins, congers are built for open combat. Their jaws are broad and strong, designed to seize and swallow fish, squid, or even smaller eels whole. In these depths, prey is harder to find, so every hunt demands strength and agility. Here, the ocean enters the twilight zone, a band stretching from 200 to 1,000 meters below the surface. Above, the last hints of daylight flicker out. Below, darkness tightens its grip. The rules of survival begin to change. Eyes grow larger to catch what little light remains, and bodies become sleeker, more streamlined for long-distance patrols. The water is thick, with suspended particles, and every movement sends vibrations echoing through the gloom. Congers use their keen senses to track the faintest signals, waiting for the right moment to lunge from their hiding places. This is a realm of tension and uncertainty, where predators and prey move in slow motion, and every shadow could be a threat. As the slope plunges toward the abyss, the forms of eels shift again, preparing for the even stranger adaptations that wait in the deep. Far below the twilight zone, the ocean begins to rewrite the rules of life. Here, among the world's strangest fish, some eels have evolved into creatures that seem almost impossible. The gulper eel, also called the pelican eel, drifts through black water with a body as thin as a whip and a mouth that can open wider than its own body. Its jaws are hinged and stretched like elastic, allowing it to swallow prey nearly its own size in a single slow gulp. The head is tiny, almost comical, and the eyes have shrunk to small dark spots, useless in the pitch darkness. Instead, the gulper eel relies on a glowing lure at the tip of its tail, a bioluminescent beacon that pulses in the gloom, drawing in curious shrimp and fish. When food is scarce, this light is a lifeline. Even stranger are the snipe eels. Their bodies are impossibly long and thin, like living threads, with delicate beak-like jaws that curve away from each other. These jaws are lined with minute comb-like teeth, perfect for snatching tiny crustaceans drifting on the currents. Snipe eels can reach lengths of more than 1 meter, yet weigh less than a chocolate bar. Their eyes, too, are reduced. Vision is almost useless at these depths, so they rely on sensitive lateral lines to sense movement and pressure in the water. Every grotesque feature has a purpose. Oversized jaws, expandable stomachs, and light organs are answers to a world where meals are rare and darkness is absolute. Muscles soften, eyes fade, and bodies stretch into ribbons or balloons, all shaped by the cold logic of survival in the abyss. The deeper you go, the more eels seem to shed the familiar, becoming creatures perfectly tuned for a realm most humans will never see. A century ago, the ocean hid its most telling clue in plain sight. Eel eggs and mating adults had never been found, but in 1904, Danish biologist Johannes Schmidt set out to solve the riddle by following the youngest eels he could find. He was not searching for adults. He was after nearly invisible larvae called leptocephali. These creatures look nothing like their parents, thin, leaf-shaped, and transparent, drifting for months or even years on ocean currents. Schmidt spent years at sea, dragging fine mesh nets through thousands of miles of Atlantic water, collecting samples and measuring each delicate ribbon. The farther west he sailed, the smaller the leptocephali became. His logbooks filled with notes. 16-millimeter larvae off Ireland, 12-millimeter larvae near the Azores, then at last the tiniest, barely 7-millimeter larvae, suspended in the deep blue heart of the Sargasso Sea. The evidence was undeniable. The Sargasso, a vast gyre swirling with floating sargassum weed, was the only place where the smallest eel larvae appeared. No adult eels, no eggs, just these newborns, scattered like secrets in the water. Schmidt's data, mapped across the Atlantic, drew a trail that ended in the middle of nowhere. The eel's greatest secret was not anatomical, but geographic, a journey that began and ended in a remote patch of ocean. His discovery transformed the eel mystery from a question of biology into a quest across open sea, setting the stage for every modern attempt to follow eels home. Modern tracking teams fit silver eels with satellite and archival tags, hoping to follow their journey into the Sargasso Sea. The data tells a story of deep dives, sometimes plunging between 500 and 1,000 meters, where pressure can crush even the toughest equipment. Many tags never make it back to the surface, lost in the dark or destroyed by the weight of the ocean. For the few that survive, the records are tantalizing. Eels travel along invisible routes, shifting depths in daily cycles, and sometimes moving in sudden bursts. Some researchers believe eels find their way using magnetoreception, reading Earth's magnetic field like a built-in compass. Others point to chemical cues or the subtle pull of ocean currents. Each new tag brings scientists closer, but the final moments, where, how, and at what depth eels spawn, remain hidden. The mystery holds just beyond the reach of our best technology. Illegal trafficking of glass eels has become one of the world's most profitable wildlife crimes. In 2018, Operation Lake seized nearly 13 million live glass eels, worth 17 million euros, being smuggled from Europe to Asia. These losses hit populations already in crisis. The European eel is now listed as critically endangered. Its numbers are down more than 90% since the 1970s. Dams blocking rivers have cut off ancient migration routes, but there are signs of recovery where barriers are removed. On Maine's Penobscot River, the removal of the Vesey Dam opened 90% of historic eel habitat. Local fishers now report eels returning to waters their elders once knew, offering hope that restoration is possible if urgent action continues. Even now, no scientist has ever witnessed an eel spawn in the wild. As populations plunge and their secret journey slips further from view, the Sargasso Sea's mystery deepens. Sometimes the world's oldest riddles outlast even our most advanced technology. Some answers may vanish before we are ready to find them.